Welcome to Lesson 4 in the EFT Tapping with Course in Miracles. You can go ahead and start tapping on a point you like. You can always go back to Lesson 1 with the intro to see what this is all about. So looking at Lesson 4, it's asking us to first take a moment. It says a minute, actually. If you want to pause, you can do that to become aware of thoughts that you're thinking. And if a particularly unhappy thought or direction of thought comes to mind, you can use that for the exercise. But it says that the point is to not be discriminate, so that we can let this idea apply to any thoughts that are crossing our mind. So give yourself just another moment, just tune in to whatever thoughts might be arising, not making any special effort to grab any particular thought. And we will tap and do this together. So, even though this exercise is telling me to say that these thoughts do not mean anything, and that might sound strange, and certainly might go against some teachings I might be interested in that say it's all about positive versus negative thoughts. And here this directly says there are no good or bad thoughts. I choose to honor myself in everything that comes up here. Even though this exercise says and asks me to say that none of my thoughts mean anything. And I'm not sure I necessarily believe that. I choose to accept myself and whatever feelings may come up around this. So even though this exercise says that just like all of the objects I see, my thoughts also have no inherent meaning. And that could bring up a wide range of questions, of doubts, of feelings in the body. And I choose to honor and accept everything this is bringing up. And to consider being open to trying this and seeing where it takes me. Okay, now tapping on the points and repeating after me, noticing this thought. Noticing whatever thought comes to mind. And I'm told not to discriminate. And that good or bad thoughts are equally useful for application. And so allowing myself to choose the next thought. And I'm saying out loud, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It's like the things I see in this room, or on the street, or wherever I am. And observing the next thought. Noticing my mind might instantly label it a good or bad, a positive or negative thought. And yet I am to now say, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It's like the objects I see. And one more. This thought about blank does not mean anything. It's like the things I see. And I choose to explore some of the interesting statements in this text exercise. That none of these thoughts represent my real thoughts. Supposedly, these thoughts cover up my real thoughts. Even the good ones are but shadows. What on earth does that mean? If these aren't my real thoughts, what are? And I just choose to be a little curious about that. And that I am asked to consider that this is a first attempt to see what is meaningless as outside of me and the meaningful within. And that somehow this is to help separate the meaningless from the meaningful. And I quote, "Do not want either good thoughts or bad thoughts." How different of a teaching is that? And I choose to just allow that to be here and bring up whatever it does for me. Processing whatever feelings come up as best I can. I'm told I might find this particularly difficult, and that's okay. And I'm to do this no more than 3 or 4 times today. Okay, take a breath. So it says to do no more than 3 or 4 times of what you could call a small section of that tapping, where you're observing the thoughts for 1 minute, being indiscriminate, saying this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on the street, and so on. So I'm obviously looking at the text while I'm doing this, and I'm really getting much more tuned in to some of these statements, these sentences like, okay, wow, you do not want either, right? So that's how I'm playing with this. I'm combining the tapping to read it pretty closely at times and see what it brings up for me. And I find that the tapping while doing this can really help me zero in on some of those statements. And of course, the actual exercise is what it says, that 1 minute of exploring our thoughts, as well as, a highlighter seems to be put on multiple times, that the point of this is to help remove or help us see through some of the judgments of good and bad thoughts. And again, that is so different than so much teaching that is about the power of positive thinking and so on. So obviously, like I said, I'm not claiming to teach what is right or to say, well, this is what is meant by that, or just doing the exercises, using my understanding of EFT tapping as a trained facilitator and going through what brings up. So like I said, this is evolving as I'm doing it. Questions, comments, thoughts, things you'd like to see, etc. Please let me know. I'd love to hear it. And I hope you're getting some value out of this. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow for lesson 5.